My name is Alonzo Bowens, and I am the saxophone instructor, along with the large ensemble instructor for the Louis Armstrong Jazz Camp. And I've been part of the jazz camp for now my third year. Well, I do believe the jazz camp is very important. The young children today, unlike the times before my time and during my time when we learned jazz from the streets, learned jazz from the neighborhoods, learned jazz from mentors in the neighborhood, the young students today, they don't have access to those type of situations now. And now, today, with the influx of technology, internet, Facebook, and all these other things, all these other types of distractions, it tends to keep a child more gravitating to those type of things. We have the jazz instructors, people that can mentor, but it's just so few now. So it's kind of hard for those kids, and I think it's really needed today more than before. For the most part, here in New Orleans, it's keeping the link together. It's keeping the link strong. I do worry that it's going to be very hard in the future, and I really feel that right now it's really crucial that we try to strengthen this link because of the things that are happening today. Things are so fast, like I said, with the internet and with the computers and different things like that. So it's just really important to try to get that next generation with a strong foundation to carry us moving forward. First, the main thing is to understand music through a love of music. It's because it'll carry you a long way. It's really important that you try to get the kids at a young age in the beginning to develop a love of music. And sometimes that's very challenging because you have different distractions, once again, that come into play. And what I find is that the initial dealing with students initially, the first week, it's like, okay, here's the instrument. And the kid's like, wow, man, the instrument, man, it sounds beautiful. I mean, and you show them how it sounds, and then they really like it. But then when they realize that it takes a lot of discipline, like learning math, like learning science, like these type of disciplines to really get into it and be involved with the music, it becomes very tedious for students, so they tend to just back away. So as a teacher, you're challenged with the task of making music enjoyable. And I find myself doing things like standing on my head and doing kind of crazy things to get the kids to see the fun in music. But then there's the serious side, and they have to come to terms with that serious side to be able to develop. So that's the main challenge. And that actually depends on the student, because you will have students that will really work hard. You have students that come here because mom, say you need to do something during the summer. But overall, I would say they leave this camp with a sense of some type of accomplishment, whether they learned a blues scale, whether they learned how to improvise on harmonic progressions, or whatever, if they just learned how to play a scale, there's some sense of accomplishment. Now, whether they were there to, and they received it and they digested it and understood it, hopefully they did, and then they can take that to the school. And most times they do take it to the school and say, well, look, this is what I've learned, you know. I mean, I've had some kids that I've taught, and they've gone to other camps, and they usually come back and they're doing certain things, and I'm saying, well, where did you get that from? I say, oh, well, I learned that doing a camp. I say, great, you did something for yourself, and now you coming back knowing something you didn't know before, which is good. So there's that positive reinforcement kind of thing that a teacher would give also. So I think, you know, that's a good thing. Well, I've been fortunate to get a master's degree, and I did a thesis on music of the hot jazz of the 20s and 30s, and so I was able to study extensively the works of Louis Armstrong, among King Oliver and others, and it's that linkage again. I mean, it's knowing King Oliver to Louis Armstrong, and moving on to Dizzy Miles and like that. There's a connection, and to deny the importance of Louis Armstrong would be crazy. So, and we need a hero. So he's a hero. He's from here. He's someone that made a big step. He molded the music, and I think it's great for this camp to be named the Louis Armstrong Jazz Camp. I think it just at this point, it still creates just an awareness, just to know that it's out there. And even in the past, it has never caught on like into the mainstream. So I think it's going to continue on. And I personally like to view it as a higher art form, and which it is, and to be taken, something to be taken seriously, not to be a novelty. And I think a lot of times people look at it as some type of novelty or something like that. You know, when they see it, they kind of relate it to some past experiences of looking at TV and seeing those old cartoons and that old style of music, and that's novel. But at the same, the thing is to treat it as an art. In some areas, they do respect it that way, and I think it's going to continue like that for a while. But I hope it can eventually get to where it's like more mainstream, that's like pie in the sky. You know? Well, my closing comments is that I really believe the mentoring process with professionals coming in contact with students, it's really, you know, you can't lose with that. Being a teacher of 21 years, my whole approach is methodology. It's always about delivery of instruction and assessment and the outcome, and being accountable. So with jazz, it's a situation where you're not, you can't use those rules as per se, even though you do from time to time. But it's just so important to see professionals come in contact with students, and they can see firsthand this art form, because you can't just spell it out on paper. There's a lot of give and take. There's a lot of gray area that you have to deal with. So I feel very fortunate to be here to work with students in this capacity. When I'm at my own school, I'm basically dealing with symphonic band teaching fundamentals and things like that. I do teach, like I say, I do teach jazz, but I don't do that in the school system. So it's really refreshing for me to be able to basically do what I like to do, because I am a performing jazz musician, and it keeps me sharp on that end. So that's about it.